Hi everybody, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. No intro, because this is the first of what's probably going to be 2 videos today, and both of them have rather serious subject matters. So it feels a little bit crass to do an intro, but don't worry, they will return very soon indeed. Now, I went to bed early last night because I had the gym first thing this morning. I'm up to 4 times a week for the next 12 weeks. And just as I started to get ready for bed and wind down, news started, I was going to say to break, but really news started to leak, because this information has actually been leaked out, supposedly. And we're going to see exactly how true it is, but it does ring very true from the kind of information we know so far. And this is from Bloomberg LP. Obviously, this article will be linked in the description box down below. As always, I recommend as well that you read it in its entirety. Go click on it and have a read. And they lead with the headline of Activision's plan to cut hundreds of jobs caps tumultuous week. Now, it starts off with a slightly incorrect statement here, which I want to go into. A painful stretch for the video game industry isn't over. That's not true. The video game industry is in really good health. Really good health indeed. The painful stretch is actually for big video game companies, because they're not making video games for gamers. They're making video games for their shareholders, and they're driving gamers away. And that is why they are failing, because they're not producing a product which people want. They're producing a product which shareholders want to maximize profits. It doesn't work. It's not conducive. But I don't know how many times I have to go into that one. So, sorry, but I just thought I'd correct you there. So let's go into the first paragraph, because this is real interesting stuff, actually. Activision Blizzard Inc. plan to announce job cuts Tuesday. Now, that, I believe, is also the same day as the earnings call. So they might do it at the same time. It might actually be part of the earnings call itself, in the face of slowing sales, according to people familiar with the matter. So this is something which has leaked out. Now, I've got some other information which has been brought to my attention, which I'm going to go through momentarily. But there seems to be quite a few leaks coming out of Activision at the moment, bringing fresh upheaval after spotty results roiled stocks this week. The shares dropped as much as 2.5% to 42.88 on Friday, which was yesterday. However, on Wednesday, Activision stocks actually dropped to a new 52, not the DC Comics, low of 42.53, and currently stands at around about 43.72 as I'm looking at NASDAQ right now. So the stocks are seriously down this week, still roughly around 8.5% to 9% on what they were prior to Wednesday, which leads us to believe that this is probably when news started to really filter out what was going to happen at Activision. The layoffs, which could number in the hundreds, are part of a restructuring aimed at centralizing functions and boosting profits, said one of the people, who asked not to be identified because the changes haven't been announced. Activision employed 9,800 people at the end of 2007. Now, one of the things which rings very true about this, of course, is the fact that we have seen some serious moves at Activision in recent times. They have actively been encouraging people in Blizzard to take voluntary redundancy. Now, this is a policy which is ongoing, and as of December of last year, over 100 people at the Cork, I think it was the Cork Customer Service Office, they took voluntary redundancy and no longer with the company now. They left at the end of December, taking, I think, an annual salary to leave the company itself. I've also heard that there's been another 100 people who have left back office over stateside, although I haven't managed to have that fully confirmed. So I'm not going to announce that as fact, but I believe there's another 100 that went in back office as well. And then, of course, we saw, which goes into later here, we saw Spencer Newman, I believe his name was, Spencer Newman being fired from Activision as the CFO. And he was fired because he went looking for another job, and he got another job at Netflix, which actually breached his contract. So Spencer doesn't give two hoots about that. He was out. He wanted out, and he was only in the role for, I think it was 18 months. And he was just like, oh, God, I'm out of here. So Spencer Newman has taken over the same role, the CFO role at Netflix. Then we had Morhaime completely leaving the company. He's going to be leaving the company by May, I believe, of this year. And then the Blizzard CFO, she quit. And she's gone off to some finance company or something like that. And she's gone. And it's not the only. There's been quite a few more executive staffs which have left the company as well. So this seems to be, when I say a sinking ship scenario, when you're losing big execs like your CFOs, and with Morhaime, your president and CEO of Blizzard Entertainment, then, you know, things aren't right. And of course, this was forecast a few months ago when Morhaime, in I think it was October of last year, actually announced that he'd be stepping down as the president, but staying on in a advisory capacity. This was forecast then that he imagined there was a lot of people at Blizzard that were going to go. And the reason why I keep harping on about Blizzard, and I know this says Activision, is because rumor has it a lot of these jobs are to go at Blizzard as well, as part of the whole Activision thing. And I'll get on to Overwatch shortly, but I think Overwatch is in big trouble. Real big trouble. So let's just go into a couple of other things here. The game maker, one of the largest in the world, acknowledged on a November conference call that some key titles such as Overwatch and Hearthstone were seeing flat or declining numbers of users. After disappointing sales of Destiny 2 Forsaken, the company parted ways with its developer Bungie Inc., a move that could reduce annual revenue as much as $400 million. As I've stressed multiple times, Destiny wasn't a loss of a game. It's a profitable game. However, it just simply wasn't making the profit which Activision want. And so we had that massive conflict. And there seemingly has been a really rocky relationship between Bungie and Activision for a long time. Pretty much since it actually came together. Which is really odd. But yeah, it just came to breaking point, it seems. And it says also analysts expect Activision sales to decline by 2% this year to $7.28 billion. And then we go off here into some other of the executive stuff, the executive departures, and some of the other EA and also Take-Two, which had big losses this week as well. Now, yeah, my rumour that's come through is that the Hearthstone team might be in massive the Overwatch team might be in massive trouble following the release of Apex Legends. There seems to be a lot of panic around the esport side of Overwatch now, because Overwatch in itself has been struggling a fair bit recently. And now with the addition of Apex Legends on top of Fortnite itself being such a big draw away and pulling people away from Overwatch, there is a seemingly a big concern that sponsorships are going to start to be pulled from the Overwatch League because it's going to be dead money. That money could be put into your Apex Legends or your Fortnite, somewhere which has got growth and is growing. And I just for shits and giggles here, look, I'm just bringing up Twitch right now. Apex Legends is still holding on to the number one spot. And this video has been recorded at 11 a.m. on Saturday morning here in the UK. So even in New York, it's 7 a.m. East Coast, 5 a.m. 3 a.m. West Coast, around those sort of times. So it's still got 133,000 people watching Apex Legends. It's being hammered still. Overwatch is actually way down here, 17.5. It's received some serious drop-off in recent times. And when you can, when you're starting to push Fortnite into third spot. I'm trying to move something on the wrong side. There we go. When you're trying to, when you're knocking off Fortnite, still 40 plus thousand away. This is a game which is taking literally people by storm. So why invest in the Overwatch League when Apex Legends and Respawn have announced that they will be bringing a competitive element to Apex Legends? So now that they've said that, it just seems much more logical for a potential sponsorship to put money into that. A developing game, a developing shooter, which seems to be absolutely soaring right now. And with Overwatch itself being on the decline, yeah. So we could see some losses potentially in the Overwatch team. We could hear some news potentially about the Overwatch esports as well shortly. Not necessarily in the conference call on Tuesday, but very shortly indeed. So we'll keep an eye on that rumour and see whether or not that comes to fruition. So this is not good news at all for Activision, and it's not good. I feel sorry for the people who are going to be affected by this. I seriously do, because it's going to be the working, for the technical term, don't jump at me. It's going to be the working man that suffers here, or the working woman who suffers here. And it's not really going to be the main execs. I doubt we're going to see any people in top end positions leave unless they want to. So this is probably going to be ground level troops who are going to be losing their jobs in an effort to restructure to, of course, add profits to the shareholders, because this is what it's all about at the end of the day. It's not about making games. It's not about making good games. It's not about being a games company anymore. It's just about making money for shareholders. So it's quite kind of like a catch-22 situation for them. They want to boost profits, and by boosting profits, they're affecting the actual company itself, which will affect games, which will mean that people won't buy or play or invest, which will affect profit. You see what I mean? It's just a vicious circle. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting on Tuesday or sometime next week to see how this one plays out. But it looks like we're going to lose hundreds of jobs in Activision, and not just in Activision, also Blizzard Entertainment as well. So yeah, more on that as it happens. Can't really say I hope you enjoyed the vid, but hope you enjoyed the information. If you did, do get a thumbs up, and also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media and Twitch for live streaming links. They're in the description box down below, and I'll be back with another video later today, and it's going to be about toxic gamers. You take care. Bye for now.